Right.
We want to stop it here. It doesn't go further. From here on in, everybody stays home.
Right. Yeah.
In early December, Occupy Homes met and began defending Vietnam veteran and former Marine Bobby Hull's home in South Minneapolis. On December 7th, dozens of Occupy activists held a spirited rally outside Hull's South Minneapolis home despite the bitter cold weather.
He's been in his house since 1968. He's a veteran, and he cried when I said, "Can we help you stay in your home? We should call him back."
You know, you take an oath that you're going to protect our country, foreign and domestic. And as far as I'm concerned, this is domestic. You know, we need to fight right here in the United States for our rights again. That's what our forefathers had put down in the Constitution.
Within days, the national media caught hold. MSNBC's Ed Schultz hosted a live show outside of Bobby Hull's house, giving Occupy Homes a national shot in the arm.
He was his own best advocate, saying, "I'm not going to leave my home. I have all of these people behind me. I'm staying. I don't care what I have to do. These big banks aren't going to rob me of my house."
People are afraid and ashamed, embarrassed about the predicaments that we're in. You know, nobody wants to admit that they're going through a foreclosure. Nobody wants to say that they're a deadbeat, you know. And I had to come to grips that I'm not a deadbeat, that this is something that has been done to this entire nation.
There's actually a human narrative at the center of all that. There's a family, there's a person fighting an injustice, and that's projected out through the media. Media is a tool, but the media isn't what's fueling this movement. We're using the media to project out a much larger set of goals.
Then in late February, Bobby Hull received calls from Bank of America indicating that he'd get to keep his home. Occupy Homes preemptively held a victory party and block party for Bobby Hull.
So the bank called me yesterday, and they said, "Mr. Hall, your celebration tomorrow is a celebration. It's not a going away party." Bank of America said they'll get back to me next week with the details, but he said, on Friday, celebrate your staying.
At that block party, 6 more homeowners facing foreclosure and eviction were empowered to speak up and pledge to stay in their own homes. Bobby Hull's fight and Bobby Hull's victory had planted a seed, and the Occupy Homes movement was growing.
We're staying in our house. We're not leaving until U.S. Bank negotiates in good faith, or they're going to put me in my coffin, one or the other, because this is my house and they can't have it.
I'm a member of Laborers 563. I poured all the concrete on the new 35W bridge. Why is it I'm losing my house? I'm not going to leave. I took the pledge, and I'll keep taking the pledge.
Clark was once homeless in the streets of Los Angeles, and so he understood more than most what it means to have a home and a roof over one's heads.
I was homeless out in L.A. for 9 years. What does any good little delinquent do when he's got home problems? He hits the streets. I felt part of the streets and the street people. I would basically sleep in people's yards, and I would look in their picture windows, and I would see the Christmas tree and the kids running back and forth, and I'd cry myself to sleep most of the holidays. I wanted to have a home like that. I wanted to have a place of my own.
I live in North Minneapolis. I live on a corner of 16th and Russell. It's my family home. It's not just my spot. It's a spot where my family gathers. You know, this is not the American dream. This is not the American way.
These individual cases can inspire people to stand up and hopefully to build a mass movement of people across the country doing this.
Those homeowners included Occupy organizer Nick Espinosa's mom, Colleen, who faced eviction from her home in northeast Minneapolis.
I'm somebody who grew up in a family where we were always about a month away from foreclosure and always on the edge of it. And as I was doing this work, as this Occupy Homes thing was picking up, about a month into it, my family got a letter. I live at home with my mom, and it was a letter for a sheriff's sale. The first thing my mom said was, "You're not coming to occupy my house." And she sat down with other people in foreclosure, like Monique, like Bobby Hull, like Ruby, people who are standing up and fighting back. And she started to think, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be ashamed of this. Maybe it's not my fault. Maybe 10 million under Americans are going through foreclosure right now. Maybe it's the bank's fault that this is happening, and maybe I need to do something about this.
I'm in trouble, and people all around me are too, and I just want to thank all the people that made this possible to fight back against the monster that's you can't beat.
Because of Bobby's fight and because of his victory, she decided then that night to go public.
Occupy Homes quickly went to bat for 5 homeowners fighting Bank of America to keep their homes.
Within about 48 hours of a video that we circulated featuring all 5 of the homeowners, somebody from Bank of America in their social media department called out and offered to fix these loans. It wasn't an attorney, it wasn't a loss mitigation specialist, it wasn't a collection agent, it wasn't a mortgage broker, it wasn't even an executive, it was a social media liaison that reached out to them and said, we have a team working on this, as we speak, just hang in there, we're going to get back to you right away with a solution. And so they're paying very close attention to this public narrative. What they haven't figured out is how to combat it, how to effectively neutralize what's becoming an outcry of public opinion around the country.